Hello and welcome back. So today we are finally going to get the video done on multiplying integers. And as a bonus, we're going to throw dividing integers into it because it's just that easy to do. So the first thing I want you to do is we need to build an understanding of what multiplication is before we start talking about integer multiplication. So I want to look at something we should probably already know. So 2 times 3. And we need to know in the 7th grade that there doesn't have to be a symbol here. This is implied multiplication. This is the same thing as 2 times 3 or 2 times 3 or 2 asterisk, which is times 3, depending on if you're using a computer. Those are all the same thing. So we are going to be the atypical mathematician who is a little bit lazy and doesn't want to write things, and we're going to just write it in this format, the 2 parentheses 3, okay? So what is that answer? Well, hopefully you know that 2 times 3 equals 6. And that's true. 2 times 3 equals 6. But there's a couple things going on here. And what we need to understand the arithmetic behind it so we can actually look and see what happens when integers are involved. Okay, so when we see multiplication, what we should really be thinking is addition. Okay, all math really boils down to adding. You are either adding a positive number or adding a negative number. Maybe you are finding negative groups of numbers, but multiplication is just a fancy way of addition. And so what we have here is we have 2 times 3, okay? So this is 2 3 times. And we put our addition in the middle, okay? So 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. And you can even see this. We're going to go 2, 2, and 2. And I have my 2 groups up there, okay? So we can see this is just addition. And we've already started a process here because we have a positive number and a positive number. And that yielded what? A positive number. So I'm kind of interested in running an experiment. And so we're going to draw a little box up here. And we've already done our first step of the experiment. And that's a positive times a positive equals a positive. Okay, and let me go on ahead and put the rest of my dots here because I'm going to have 4 total experiments. We're going to do 4 different things. So now we've done positive times a positive. Let's try a negative. Let's see what happens when we throw a negative in here. Negative 2 times a positive 3 equals what? All right, well, this was 2 3 times. So this will be negative 2, negative 2, negative 2. And I already said that this was going to be addition. So this is negative 2 plus a negative 2 plus a negative 2. And if you remember from our last video that we know that adding the like sign, they just add and we keep the same sign. Well, these are all the like signs. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 is going to be 6. And I'm going to keep the sign, which would be a negative 6. All right, and now let's go on ahead and write this down. So we have a negative times a positive, a negative times a positive, and that yielded a negative response. Okay, now let's try the opposite of that. We're going to try a positive 2. That looks more like an absolute value sign than parentheses. And we're going to go with a negative 3. So this is kind of similar, but not really. So we're going to start with our positive 2's. And we've got our addition and our addition. Okay. Now I want you to think about it. This is a negative symbol. What is another way that we refer to the negative symbol? In my math classes, I will tell you so many times that you understand and almost want to read negative as the word opposite. So it doesn't really matter what's going on. We're going to do the opposite with a negative. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put my opposites on all of this. And now look, I have almost the same equation, if not the same equation up top. -2 plus a -2 plus a -2. Well, we already know that's a -6. Well, now I've got 3 experiments done, and I've got 1 left. All right, so what's the last one I've got to do? You're right. It is the negative times a negative. So let's take a look. -2 times -3. And that is going to be, so we've got our -2's. So let's go on ahead and write those out. -2, -2, -2. Put our plus symbols in here. Addition, addition, and addition. All right, now I have an opposite symbol. Well, I've already got negatives in here, but I need to do the opposite. So I'm going to go on ahead and turn those negatives positive. So I have a +2 plus a +2 plus a +2. Well, that would yield a +6. That's a horrible 6. A +6. So a negative times a negative is a positive. Pretty cool. I said 4 rules. There's really a bonus rule, okay? And the bonus rule is this. If I have 3, let's say, yeah, we'll do 3. And I'm going to multiply that by 0. My question to you is 0 positive or negative? And if we look up here on the number line, positive numbers are all of these numbers. Negative numbers are all of those numbers. 0 just sits in the middle. So it is neither positive nor negative. So 3 times 0, any number times 0 is 0. Please note, there is no positive, there is no negative, it's just 0. If I was to make this a -3, it changes nothing. -3 times 0 is still 0. No positive, no negative, it's just 0. So let's go on ahead and we'll draw our bonus rule down here. Actually, I need to make a little bit of room. Just a little bit of room. And so we're going to draw a plus sign and a minus sign because it does not matter. Plus sign, minus sign, times a 0 equals a 0. All right, for those of you taking my class, what you need to have on your note sheet is right here. I don't care where on your notes you put this, but this chart is something you're going to refer to, okay, over and over and over again. Now, I said we were going to talk about division as well. Guess what the rules for division are? That's right. They're right here. So I want you to pause the video, make sure we write this down, and then we'll go from there. You got it? I hope so. If not, you can always rewind, right? So let me go on ahead and reset a little bit. Now, we're not going to work through what division is nearly as much because we already have the foundation through the math or through the multiplication. Okay. I might work 1 or 2 things. So what I want you to think is if I have 6 divided by 2, and we should know that this is 6 divided by 2. Interesting side note. The division symbol is really a fraction, 6 and the 2. It's just showing you the fraction. So the true division is in fraction form, for those of you that don't know. So 6 divided by 2. This tells me I have 6 pieces. And I want to know how many groups of 2 I can make. Well, there's 1, 2, 3. So I know 6 divided by 2, 6 divided into 2 groups is 3. Okay, this is simple. And I also have a positive, and that yielded a positive result. Cool. So let's try a negative 6 over a positive 2. Well, I've got a groundbreaking thing for you. Because multiplication and division are so related, these rules for multiplication, they work for division. So you don't have to rewrite anything. I have a negative 6 divided by a 2. That's 1 negative. So I have a negative and a positive. It's going to give me a negative result. If I was to, and let me not color confuse you. If I was to have a negative 2 and a positive 6, that's going to give me a negative 3, because that's what my chart says. And if I was to have a negative 11 divided by a negative 11, I'm going to get a positive 1. And that'll be a positive 1 because I have 2 negatives. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If I have 11 items and I want to make 11 out of the group, I only have 1 group. One last question. What if I had 0 divided by negative 6? Pause it. Think. Have you paused? I hope so. Anything divided by, or 0 divided by anything is 0. Remember, this is okay. 6 divided by 0 is undefined. And I'm going to run out of room. We can't divide by 0, but anything, yeah. Can't divide by 0, but 0 can be divided. Hopefully that didn't leave you too confused. If it did, watch it again a couple times, whatever. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you get cool videos and you learn all the lesson stuff that maybe you missed while you were gone. I'll see you in class.